warfare, I'm 100% on for. I'm going to address that now. It's not crying, it's exposing something. What the fuck are you exposing? Go on, explain what you're exposing. I'm just exposing that CRG only care about money for years and they don't respect anything they promise. Well, how else are they going to keep the fucking lights on so they can keep building the game? Like, the game isn't being built on fucking hopes and dreams. They need to keep the money coming in. They don't respect their promises? So what, we've just been fucking getting nothing over the last, what, 6 years? Game development doesn't happen as fast as you want it to.
Alright, so I guess we're past the denial phase with you guys, and we're into the acceptance phase, right? The reality of the decision-making process that has led us up to this point. So for those of you that have been watching me on Twitter or have interacted with me on social media, I have said that your feedback only goes as far as it's going to affect their bottom line, right? And I meant that, and y'all are now figuring out that what I said was true, right? You know,
never does. Any software project doesn't happen as fast as you want it to. It is a dark art to do project management or any sort of software development. And from a company view, they have a golden chicken, so why would they have any reason to make it out? Because that's what they said that they were going to do, and they can still get in trouble for not fucking doing it. You're thinking that they're coming from this perspective that they only care about the money. There are plenty of examples out there of projects who only wanted the money, and they haven't even come close to the level of success of what CIG has achieved with Star Citizen.
well, you're wrong, Mongol Squadron. Star Citizen has yet to be successful. I'm just going to stop you right fucking there. In the last 10 years, I've been more successful than Cloud Imperium Games. Bottom line, into fucking story. And I have the receipts to prove that. So, you know, you can throw your subjective definition of what success is if you want. But having to sit here and completely throw away your old design document for the sake of profit margins is not success. That is failure. Failure to produce what was originally promised to OG backers such as myself and others, right? And it comes down to a sad reality that most of you can't aim, so we gotta have all these automated systems, and you know, you want to sit here and pretend that exploits are evasion, but it's not really. I've said it before, I'll say it again. The only consistency in this entire fucking project is controller disparity, right? I have said this to many organizations and many other groups throughout the game. And what's the one thing you guys are practicing now? Roll aiming? One of my signature tactics? Man, how hard have y'all hit the fucking iceberg, right? You know, this whole nonsense of y'all sitting here thinking that this is all revolutionary and y'all are coming to these y'all are the ones figuring this shit out. No, you're not. You're CIG sanctioned, you're backed up, you're propped up, right? And people like me have been saying it for years, right? But because of this conspiracy online to essentially cancel people and starve them of engagement, which is essentially what y'all are doing, right? You sit here and you screenshot my fucking shit and you post it on your fucking Discords. That's an example of that, right? You know, that's some true hater behavior right there.
Citizen. The reason why is because they're actually building the fucking game. Like, I can go and log into Star Citizen now and play the alpha version of what we have. What are you on about? We're getting the features. They're just being rolled out slower than we all want. Like, I've got access to Wave 1 for the PTU to go and play with the freight elevators, personalized hangars, cargo hauling missions. That was supposed to come in the previous patch, but it wasn't ready yet. Oh well, sucks that that doesn't happen, that they can't keep hitting their deadlines. They may be slow on purpose. The more time it takes, the more money that they... You know, Chris Roberts isn't going to live forever, right? He's getting older, and he's going to want to play this game too.
What does that thought actually annoy you? The fact that they that people are starting to come around to the idea that maybe, just maybe, CIG has been sabotaging their own game in order to sell you other bullshit, right? You know, for those of you that know me in the past, think back into the 3.0 days when they, you know, broke ESP, right? You know, inverting the algorithm to where it reflects off target instead of guides on target. Do you really think that that's incompetence, or do you think that that was deliberate? Well, I'm gonna tell every last one of you right the fuck now. All right. Do you really? Okay, so you have two ways of getting fucked on this topic. So CIG hires dumb fucks, or they did it on purpose for malicious marketing reasons. Either way you decide to go down that line of thought, you're fucked. You don't have an out. And this is the problem that a lot of you are having right now when it comes to this topic, is that you've run out of outs, right? There is no spin anymore, right? The only thing you have to fall back on is it's alpha and it's still being built. That's a weak argument considering how long it's been. And you want to talk about, we're getting things and stuff. Like, what are we getting? We're getting a remix of everything we've had for the last 6 fucking years. That's the reality of the situation. And then on top of that, Pyro is still not out yet. So for the last 5 fucking years, we have yet to get Pyro. A working jump gate system, which I don't even want to get into, because jump gates, for example, like, who the fuck asked permission? Like, seriously, asking the ATC for permission to use a phenomenon that's naturally reoccurring in space. I mean, that if that doesn't fucking anyway, that's dumb, and they know it's dumb, and everyone's talking about how dumb it is because you're talking about queuing up, right? That literally, that is a massive weakness. Your jump gate, your entire gameplay loop around jump gates is an elaborate queue system to go into a different fucking server. Maybe a loading screen would have been just the easier fucking solution there. But we gotta have our immersion and all this other bullshit, right? We're already going back on the original promises again with that, and you can only go one way, right? And it's a instance thing, so there is no opposing traffic. You know what I'm saying? So this whole entire thing with jump gates is a giant smoke and mirrors illusion to mask queuing into a different fucking server. But I don't want to get off topic here.
There's a point where he is going to be like, alright, we need to fucking start cutting the corners and just get this done. There's the vision that I wanted it to be, and then there's the game that I actually want to play. Because that's where this all came from. Chris Roberts wanting to play the game. And he ain't getting any fucking younger. So it's in his best interest to be able to play the game that he wants, to get it done sooner. But if you're that concerned about not getting the thing that you want out of this game, stop supporting it. Don't put money towards it. Don't bother following the project. Don't recommend it to anybody. Don't talk about it. Cut your losses now if you seriously believe that this game is lost. There is so much more that's going to come for this game. They're still going to be working on features for it beyond Chris Roberts dying. This game is going to keep going for a long time, purely because of us fucking crazy ones, but you're still throwing money at the screen for it. I understand where you're coming from, where it's easy to come to the conclusion that, they're just milking the fucking cow, the cash cow that they're milking. From fucking Star Citizen refunds. I'll show this off. From Star Citizen refunds, first of all, I'm not a clout chaser. I'm not enjoying the most extreme PvP that doesn't violate the actual legal.
I'm not a clout chaser. See, this is golden shit right here, right? Look at how much damage I've done to this community personally, right? And it's all because you people want to sit here and be a certain way toward me. Like, I could sit here for literally hours and go back in the history and show you guys where all this shit comes from, right? It comes from me. It comes from Renegade, right? All of you copycat motherfuckers.
Agreements, however, I have been targeted several times and banned with no explanation and no proof. It's Shingarad. Okay. Several times for proof, and the holier than thou answer is reviewed it ourselves. Had enough, I just killed Summit. I guess he is some big streamer with 10,000 viewers, and I was instantly banned from Break. There are a few legal points. I cannot respond to an email because I have no access to customer support. They advertise ramming and PvP. In fact, they are running a YouTube ad right now showing these things. I was kicked over and over again. In this video, joining on someone that was on the server as our loader who joined from someone that infiltrated these people's orgs and let us join them. This is an accepted gameplay loop that I have. The advertisement not care about protecting that sort of asset. From a business perspective, because that's what CIG is, they're a business, so from that perspective, they would want to protect their assets from somebody trying to cost them money. And this is something that I mentioned earlier that I was going to bring up, and this is a point that everybody needs to get in their fucking heads about this sort of thing. CIG is demonstrating a pattern, if you've been paying attention, hovering around really popular streamers while they're streaming and banning anybody that they suspect of stream sniping, giving them temporary vacations, making sure certain groups don't go after certain streamers. 600 accounts getting a 3-month vacation after excessively testing the duplication exploit in the last patch. Thousands, I guarantee that there were thousands doing it, but only 600 of them got a vacation for 3 months. People who admit to stream sniping, attacking a streamer and getting...
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like it really does, it's like, you know, have you ever wondered what it felt like to be the supervillain that goes home and watches the news after you've burned down a fucking city? Well, that's what I feel like right now. I'm straight the fuck up serious about that, okay?
Vacations, 2 weeks and more, and this isn't new. This has happened in the past before as well. The IG.
You know, so showing people how to do the invisibility bug, showing people how to do the cargo duping and the salvage, man, you guys really took that shit and went wild with it like I knew you were going to. Which proves something about the... You want to talk about exposing something? What I exposed was literally a sickness within this community. A whole bunch of fucking people that sit here and complain about all these problems that they actively enjoy, exploit, and use on a daily basis. And it doesn't matter if it's tricording or fucking cargo.
Is doing things to protect the image of their product. Protecting that image means that they're bringing in revenue. They're paying bills, they're paying developers, they're paying for Chris's new yacht. The point that I'm coming around to though is don't get in the way of CIG's money. When you
understand... Well, I appreciate you giving me a nice, you know, recap of all the fucking damage I've done to all of you in the last 6 months to 8 months. 2 of which of the year don't count because I've been busy with real life stuff and I haven't been able to continue my siege against you people. But here's the thing, like when you sit here and act like y'all are the ones coming to these revelations, like, you're not. Alright? Like, you know, being spoon-fed talking points and on your live stream is funny to me. And it's the same thing with all of you, right? You know, it's like you guys are copyright striking each other. You guys are fucking like in the whole reason behind this is like you guys are now fighting over what's left of the revenue pool of this fucking game, right? You just don't have the backbone and the balls to literally point the finger at the company and accuse them of what they've done. All right, you know, you have admitted that what I have been saying for the last 8 years about this company will literally throw anybody or anything under the bus that they have to in order to get that short-term profit, because anything that damages their image, you know, is a brand risk, right? And they, you know, I was labeled a brand risk in the past, but the problem is that the company is the one doing the bad behavior. The company is the one doing all. The company is the one that's the problem, right? So how can I be a brand risk by sitting here telling people, like yourself, obviously, what the fuck's really going on? Because how informed are you people really? Clearly not as informed as I am, right? You know, you sit here and you rely on these toxic positive streamers, for example, and you know these guys, some of them have enough self-awareness to know that they're being a little fake about shit, you know, for the sake of their, you know, their viewer and, you know, their streams, because they don't want to act toxic and shitty because, you know, again, they're making money off their stuff, right? But not me. I don't care about making money off of any of this stuff. You people have ruined that for me a long fucking time ago because, oh my god, Defanos is killing us at Grimhex. Oh my god, Defanos is killing us at Cryastro. Oh my god, Defanos is killing us at fucking at Jumptown. You know, it's like, so yeah, y'all sat here and you watched dogfighters get popular on the streams, right? You saw that, you know, combat and the way that we were going about the combat was not the way that you people in the Care Bear community and you people in the office, you didn't want your game portrayed like that. You didn't want to let the world see just how fucked up you can be in a sandbox MMO, right? You don't want people to see that because they're going to be like, oh my god, this is like Daisy in space. And it fucking is, which is why, you know, so a lot of you get really goddamn mad and really goddamn offended when I make that comparison, because it fucking is. And now here we are, it's like y'all got so salty at that comparison, you literally destroyed looting, okay? There's nothing about what's happened in this game's development in the last couple of months is air quote positive, right? You know, you sit here, you talk about how Death of a Spaceman is still going to be in the game. No, the fuck it's not, right? Clearly, you know, if you're sitting here admitting to cutting corners, like we are clearly in the acceptance phase of this situation, right? The acceptance of the fact that all this effort that y'all have been putting into trying to control the feedback loops of this community has been nothing more than a bad joke to a lot of us in the know from the very beginning. When you have cucks like Tazius, for example, and I'm gonna fucking throw you, you're next. You want to talk about throwing people under the bus? You know, what's my personal gain for this? Fucking telling y'all the truth. So anyway, you know, when you sit here and you hear people say, you know, we gotta add all these automated systems into the game because it's about a guaranteed return on private investment. And I swear to God to all of you, that's the last thing Tazius ever said to me before I bucked on him for, you know, deleting and censoring people's feedback in Renegade Discord. You know, like kind of the same behavior that's going on in other combat discords. You know, censoring people, preventing people from talking. You know, not letting them have access to channels even though they're in the top, 50 of the fucking game. You know who the fuck you are. You know, and it's gotten to the point to where it's like, y'all should feel fucking stupid about what you've done, right? You know, yes, I've known since 3.0 CIG was going to throw away the entire shooting match for the sake of making something that's, going to be sellable, not just to the broad audience on PC, but on consoles as well, okay? And I didn't know about the consoles up until Sandy Gardner said something at the Shanghai Bar Citizen, okay? So y'all can't put that on me. That doesn't just come out of my ass. No, that comes directly out of the mouth of Blessed Mother herself, okay? So, there you go. This is the reality of the situation, all right? It's not my fault, in my personal opinion. A lot of people are going to start pointing fingers at here shortly about who's responsible for all of this. And, ultimately it comes down to a bunch of people who backdoored their way into the company with private investments and then started dictating what the game is going to be regardless of what the player's feedback is. And it doesn't matter if it's scope glint, inventory, auto aim, right? And I mean that. You take away the gimbal system that y'all are on about. Like, I mean, my God, I'm literally fucking mean it, guys. Y'all need to pay attention to what I'm fixing to say right now. You look at the goddamn glaive, it doesn't have the gimbal system, right? You look at the F7A, it has the gimbal system with fucking size 4 wing mounts. So you've really gotta ask yourself a serious question here, right? Is anything ever going to be balanced in this game? And the answer is no. You look at the older ships that don't have the bells and whistles of the newer ships, ship 1.0 pipeline, ship 2.0 pipeline, and beyond, right? CIG is wasting so much fucking development time trying to bring old ships into the new system and they're coming to the realization that because of the way they designed some of these older ships, like the Glaive, it will never be able to fall in line with the newer systems, right? Because if you put gimbals on the Glaive, guess the fuck what? It becomes overpowered. So don't put gimbals on the goddamn Glaive. For the love of God, don't do that. It not having gimbals puts it into a third party, a wingman position, right? Because of the convergence issue. It's a higher skill ceiling ship, which brings me to my final fucking point about all of this, okay? Y'all want to talk about skill ceilings? Okay? Well, yes. The F7A has the lowest skill ceiling because of what I just said. You can fucking auto wing with size 4 wing mounts, even though they're air quote fixed, okay? And of course the bullets bend because of the ESP. So there you go, right? You compare that to the Glaive that doesn't have that feature, or the convert, even with firing size 5s, even if you're on pip and your fucking cannons still miss because they're not converging on target, even though you're putting your pip on. Yeah, the ship is clearly going in a direction of shooting at heavy fighters and Hornets, and anything smaller than that is going to put the Glaive at a tremendous positional dogfighting disadvantage. Y'all are looking at the skill ceiling the wrong way. See, y'all are trying to sit here and pretend that this lighter here is the skill ceiling for all the ships in the game, right? And you're sitting here benchmarking everything compared to the F7A, right? Okay, fair enough, to a point. But what you're not understanding is that the Glaive sits higher on the skill ceiling than the F7A. And the more bells and whistles you put on a ship, like the F7A, the lower and lower, the lower and lower and lower. Oh wait, it's not even on the camera anymore, is it? It's 6 feet underground, right? Guys? So I've done my absolute best to try to teach y'all these things, regardless of my attitude towards y'all in the community. Because quite frankly, if you're so fucking smart, you should have been able to figure this out your fucking selves. And I really mean that about the majority of you. Majority. Okay? A lot of the stuff that I'm showing you guys should not be new or revolutionary stuff for y'all. What makes y'all mad is the fact that you have to literally go out and spend money on a pair of V's right here, and you want to complain about that. You want to get mad about that. You want to sit there and be like, wah. It's a simple fucking concept. You put your feet on the pedals. You don't use the swing. You put the toes on for roll. Okay? And you have full axis control without having to dedicate any of your fingers into, I don't know, having to take your hand off of WASD, for example, right? Because you lose strafing ability when you take your hands off of your movement keys to roll, correct? So y'all are sitting here doing stupid shit looking like this. Trying to fight me in Arena Commander looking like this. Alright? So, is that my fault? Is that my fault? No, it's not my fault. What's my fault is having superior game knowledge of what the limitations of a digital fucking input device is versus an analog input device. And what makes it even more of a fucking comical thing for me is that y'all spent fucking what? $15 to $25, $3,000 on y'all setup, right? And I've spent fucking $400 or $500 on mine, right? Tell me. Like, seriously, I with a straight fucking face, try to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Seriously. Yes, I do. I've been watching y'all as much as y'all watch me, and the sad reality is that, because of y'all simply just not wanting someone like me to I won't say advertise, I won't say represent, because God knows y'all don't want me, a fucking Trump supporter, to you know, especially one that really has a fucking axe to grind against the trans community, yeah, of course you don't want me representing your fucking game, right? But that's present day Defanos. What about 2017 Defanos? 2017 Defanos was happy. 2017 Defanos didn't hate the trans community. Maybe because they didn't try to cancel me back then, right? Or come into Renegade and deliberately cause problems because we wouldn't accept the trans ideology, right? It's almost as if you people social engineered an attack, not just on me, but there was multiple angles of attack, because that's how much it took, right? The amount of effort it took for y'all to take my org down was tremendous. It's probably the same amount of effort it took for y'all to take out Trump, because you look at the tactics, it's similar, right? You look at the tactics, and you know, you look at the way that some of y'all behave over in this game, right? And you look at the way these Democrats are behaving, and then you want to get mad when people point out that correlation, right? And there's no politics. We're trying to make everything political. No, it's not me. It's you, right? You know, you're the one calling me a Nazi, right? You're the one calling, you know, Twitter a Nazi bar, right? You know, you want to talk about sitting here, you know, relying on these platforms for advertisement. There's nothing that screams we're an inclusive company that wants to cater to the broadest audience possible by sitting here and literally saying some stupid fucking shit like that, right? You're not inclusive. You never have been. And then, like I said, when it comes to PvP in a sandbox game, look, here's the reality of the situation. This company is banning us now for the behavior that we're doing, but in the future, when they fail to bring forward any type of concord in the game, or any type of meaningful security in the game that's going to actually stop players from this behavior, reputation system or not, y'all are going to find out the real fucking hard way, aren't you? Aren't you? And then you want to sit here in a game environment like that. You want to make a player spend 15-20 minutes putting a suit of armor on. After you have sat here and advertised dying and respawning constantly with the medical bed system. So, you know, if you see, this is the part where I'm going to put the final nail in the coffin. I've put you people in a corner. Now we're gonna see if you have what it takes to come fucking through me. All right. You sat here and you said and you spun it a certain way to sell an item, and now here you are, and you're probably gonna change it, right? Completely taking away any reason for that item to be in the game, like a carrot, for example, right? Carrot owners. Right? So yeah, there's just so many constant examples of CIG sitting here and invalidating previous concepts with newer concepts, and for what? To keep the lights on? Keeping the lights on is not a good enough excuse for the lack of integrity, the lack of trust, the lack of communication, and the downright bait and switch of this PC-only game that is now going on consoles. I'm pretty sure I didn't miss a fucking spot. I'm pretty fucking sure that this whole entire situation with all of you is officially in the dirt. You're buried at this fucking point. Socially, then you've lost the narrative completely in my eyes. And, you know, for the only reason why I'm still around, sticking around, is literally just to watch y'all sit here and stand in this fire and burn with this fucking company and with this game. This is fine. Is it fine? Is it fine that so many of you have put your financial securities into these platforms around a title that has literally no certainty anymore. So yeah, if all of you that are sitting here making money off of this shit, I would be worried if I was sitting here having to rely on income from any of these online platforms. Of course, I would act like this. But because I was self-aware of what y'all were going to become 8 years ago, is why I flipped my shit and turned on all of you. Especially when you sit here and do all this social nonsense, social warfare nonsense to try to delete somebody that you don't like. And even with the information that you have acquired through petty theft, it still wasn't enough, and you still couldn't use it properly. And you still can't use it properly. And it's because y'all don't want to fucking listen. You want to pick and choose the things that people like me say and try to call it your fucking own. Instead of listening to the, the scientific physical reality of the limitations of computer science, as well as the limitations of your input devices. And because of that input disparity is the reason why the game's skill ceiling, clowns, is as low as it is. If you weren't catering to a broad audience possible, if you weren't trying to make a console controller be able to fly, then none of these changes would ever be in the game. So, at this point, if you continue to spend money with this company, it is in fact on you. I tried years ago to stop this, and I failed, and I was defeated. So you got your lulls, your short-term victory, but now, here we are, today, August 13th, 2024, and in the long run, you've lost it all. You've lost the narrative, you've lost your image, you've lost your hype, and you've lost your reputations. All because you wanted to, what, keep the fucking lights on? The only people that are still putting money into this game are the people that actually have that disposable fucking income. And as most of you are not the kind of person that has, the disposable income to spend 50 grand on all the spaceships in the game, right? Of course the money is going to dry up for the company, which is why they sold the F8, which is why they sold the F7, and which is probably they're going to sell more Mark IIs in the future. Because you use the Mark I money to develop, and then you throw everything into the trash, and then you use the money from that point on to develop where we're at today. And of course, that was the investor money from the family. Y'all found out. Like all the stuff I was saying and y'all said I was crazy for, y'all are now finding the fuck out. I'm not crazy, it was true, and there was a reason why this company and all of the content creators in this community blacklisted me and banned me and tried to silence me any way they could, because they didn't want y'all to know the truth about this. They thought they could actually lie their way into the game's air quote release, or probably lie indefinitely to keep the game in development forever. But now, because of all this shit and because of all this fucking stuff that I have done personally to fucking force these people's hands, now they're gonna have to release something, because if they don't, then the game will fail, and the game, and they will run out of money. And it's not just because of my actions, it's because of the political climate that we live in today with gas prices, and of course the economy being ridiculous, everything being double if not triple price, and you motherfuckers want to sit here and be like, yeah, let me get $350 for a spaceship. So yeah, Y'all got problems. Y'all got big image problems. So have fun with that. See, at the end of the day, I'm just a gaming group. I'm just a guy, right? At the end of the day, I have no financial stake in any of this outside of what I've invested into my hobby. You people, on the other hand, have a massive financial stake in everything you're doing. Y'all picked the wrong side, reap what you sow, and cry about it.